Hello and welcome to Dear Love Talk Christmas Special. We're dedicating a whole show today to, answering questions, all kinds of questions related to relationships. Those of you who are single, married, those of you who are in a relationship, stay with us throughout the whole show today because we have some very deep questions to answer. And the reason why we're doing this is due to the need that many people have to be helped when it comes to the matters of the heart. We've said it here many times, plenty of times, that people get help for so many things nowadays. They go to school, they take courses, they learn so much about, whatever, you name it, the subject or topic. But when it comes to the matters of the heart, when it comes to relationships, they don't find a lot of help out there.
And I don't want to generalize, Luke, but the truth is, when it comes to asking for help, I find that women are better at it. You see that when we answer questions here on the Love Talk, it's usually from, most of the questions anyway are from women. Mm-hmm. But it's so important that if you're going through a situation in your love life, in your marriage, and you don't know how to solve it, you have maybe asked advice with your friends, you've tried all sorts of things, and it's not working.
Yes.
And you don't want to give up on that relationship, you just don't see any other way out.
And you mentioned that the women usually do that, which is true. Men, I'm a man, we know that by nature we are a little bit proud and we think that we have it all figured out. If we go through any issues, anything, we think that, no, I can handle it. I don't need anyone to help me. If I ask for help, I'm a loser. I'm a wimp, which is not true. We've had men coming to seek help, but still, it's a handful. So I believe there are many men watching us right now. If you believe that this can help you, stick around because, most of the questions, if not all of them, they are for both men and women. They will help both.
And sometimes I find also, through the women that I talk to in our work, that when they come and say, I'm going through this problem in my relationship, and then when we get to the point, what does your partner say about it? The women say, he thinks there's no problem.
Exactly.
He thinks I am the problem.
There's nothing to talk about.
There's nothing to talk about. Yeah. There's nothing to solve. You are causing problems because everything for me is fine. So it's one more reason why men sometimes they don't ask for help.
We men are more practical, more pragmatic. We think that answers are very short. We don't need to talk much. Let's just do it, which is not the case because women need to talk. They need to get into the details and so on and so forth. So it's very complex. We're getting to another subject right now. But what I wanted to say is that there is nothing wrong in seeking advice. Many people they leave it for too late when the milk is already spilled over. There's no more solutions. Some people come to us seeking advice when they're already on the verge of divorce. Mm-hmm. Why waiting? We have a few questions today. A few questions to cover, and I think one of them is a single person asking what he has to do, when the time comes, to get into a relationship, to engage in a relationship with someone. So this is it. You gotta prepare yourself. We have to prevent, not only fix the problem,
but prevent it.
But prevent it. Right?
And that's why sometimes we decided to do one special Dear Love Talk, because sometimes, most of the time, we receive so many questions that we only reply. Yeah. Person send us an email, we reply to them, but we don't get to tell you what the answer is. So today we dedicated one show just to answer questions. And if you have a question, you can write to us on questions@lovetalkshow.tv.
And if your question is if this is real chocolate and marshmallow, yes, they are. And we thank our producer.
And as you can see,
she prepared. She got some nice mugs.
The handle.
Oops, sorry, I dropped the
handle is on the left.
Yes, on the left.
Because we need to show the mug. But now I'm going to turn it.
She said we need to show the face.
Yeah. So now I'm turning it so I can actually drink.
Yes. There you go. So should we get cracking?
Let's get cracking. With
talking
the
about
crackers.
cracking, we have crackers today. We're going to pull the crackers and get the questions from inside the crackers. Hope the sound pops, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
we were
it's not
trying
fun.
before we started. It didn't work very
didn't
well.
work.
We're going to try now.
So we're going to go into the first question. Let's grab this baby here and pull it.
I got it.
Let's see.
All right.
Make
So
any noise.
it did make noise.
All right. No, that's the okay. That's
Yeah, the first
this is the
question-
crown. This is the crown.
Right.
Pull the paper.
And the
Hold on,
first
before you
question
read,
is.
let me just get into the mood. Here we go. Are we ready now?
And the first question is,
Let's see it.
who should approach who to start a relationship? Right. We get that a lot. Some people might think that's a silly
I'm
question.
gonna drink some chocolate before I answer that.
But you know, lots of people, they ask that, you know, what's the right way? Who should approach who? The man or the woman?
First of all, you can't be waiting forever for someone to fall on your lap. You know, some people waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting
They are waiting until today.
until today. So I remember seeing this picture somewhere on Google, Facebook of a skeleton.
One of our guests mentioned it. in one
Yeah,
of
the
shows.
skeleton
Yeah.
sit on a bench
Waiting for Mr. Right.
waiting for Mr. Right. So death had come, but not Mr. Right. Okay, so some women might be thinking right now, so you're telling me now that I should pounce, you know, on the first man that crosses my path? No, not like that. However, there are ways for you to do that. Obviously, the idea is for the man to approach. That's the whole idea, the man to approach. So for example, she was already in love with me, and then I approached her.
He always tells that story. I need to get one day to really explain it to you.
She laid her eyes upon me already.
Right.
That's a fact.
Uh-huh.
But she didn't make any move. She didn't make any move. Only when I approached her months later, maybe a year or so, that she told me that, you know, she was already also kind of observing me and then
After
things
he
like that.
told me that he was
After I told
interested,
her.
then I admitted.
Then after we got married, or maybe I think we already, we didn't get to that point, but we were dating. That's when you told me that you already liked me, observing me, you had your eyes on me from the first time you saw me. But you never told anybody about it. And I remember she was saying that not even her friends, she ever told that. She had a very close friend at the time, and she never told her friend that. So you kept it to yourself, right? And someone may be thinking, but what if he had never approached you? What would you tell that person? What if I had never approached you? How would you go about it?
Look.
I'll put you on this spot.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Chocolate now.
I never thought about it. You know, if he had never made the first move. I'm gonna tell you, it's not a rule. It's not the right, but my personal opinion. This is how I personally view it. I think it's very important from the beginning. I think at the beginning of a relationship, you know, the first conversations, it sets the tone, sets the pace for the rest of the relationship. And for me, it was very important that the first step was made by you and not me.
Okay, but what if I had not come to you? That's the question. Because you had that inside of you, that feeling. You didn't tell anybody.
Right.
So someone might be thinking, all right, what if Luke didn't approach you? What would you have done? How would you have gone about it?
That's a very good question. When it's personal. I think the first thing, you know, I would make sure that there is some sign from you. I don't think I would just go like that without knowing, although we were becoming friends.
Because, by the way, we were friends already.
We were friends.
Yes, so
we're friends.
There was a way to, you know, wait, you know, the possibilities and everything.
Yeah, so I got to know him, I knew his friends, you know, we were closer than when we first met. But, so I would wait until I knew, okay, maybe he's interested. I would want some kind of sign. I'm not the kind of woman who just blindly go and see where it goes. I would wait until I had some sign from you.
Right. Would you have asked someone to perhaps...
I was gonna get to that now.
Investigate?
Once I saw that there might be interest in you, you know, I would get somebody. I would recruit somebody because we had the same we were in the same circle of friends.
Yeah.
I would recruit somebody to investigate a bit more and maybe drop a hint.
Yeah, because it's easier. For example, if I was the one, I mean, because that's how it happened.
Sounds confusing, but you'll understand.
That's how it happened. We became friends. I didn't like her at first in that way, but she was already liking me in that way. I only came to realize that later on. So that's when I started having feelings towards her. Obviously, it's much easier if the man approaches right off the bat. You know, we've been friends for a while, but I'm feeling this and that. What if we talk, go out for a coffee, whatever. So that should be the way, and the woman is the one to make the decision, because the woman cannot make it, very easy for the man. Men is like, men are like hunters. Men are hunters. They want to conquer. They want to hunt. If it's too easy, if the prey is too easy, if the prey is just lying there and say, "Hey, hunt me," where is the fun? So the woman has to make it difficult. She never, only towards the end, when I was about to approach her, but in the beginning, I never noticed that in her, that she had something, a feeling towards me. So it's much easier for the man to approach. But if the man is clueless and the woman is there already, I find this guy interesting, and he's nice, but we're just friends, what do I do? So we're trying to give you here some tips on how you can go about it. Women, after all, you can't be waiting forever. You wouldn't be waiting forever.
No, I wouldn't, that's for sure. Some women, they have the courage to approach it. Yeah. I'm saying I wouldn't. I would get somebody to at least...
We're not saying it's wrong.
Yeah, I'm not saying you can't. It
doesn't bode well for...
For me, I wouldn't want that. I would want you to...
For me, for example, as a man, if you had come to me like that, I would have said no. I mean, some men think that, I would like women hitting on me and coming to me. Well, fair enough. I don't really think they are into a serious relationship. They just want to have fun. But people who want the real thing, that's perhaps how they should go about things. Yeah,
and I think for me, I'll explain to you why I'm not the kind of woman who would go to him.
Drink your chocolate.
Would go to him. For the rest of our lives now.
The cookie. Never mind. Keep going.
See?
No,
for me, it was going to be like this. For the rest of our lives, it would be always that thing. This would never have happened if it wasn't for me. I wouldn't want that. But the truth is, look, I think people overcomplicate things. You only had the courage to approach me because I also dropped you some signs, some hints. So I think it's when someone is interested in someone else, you kind of know. So if you are, for example, you're friends with the guy and you have conversations with him and you smile, like you're letting him know that you were open
without
for him to approach.
Without giving too much away.
Yeah, without giving too much away. You are letting him know that you would
We're not
be
suggesting
open.
you are flirtatious.
No.
Giving too much away, as I said, but in a very, how can I put it?
Subtle.
Yeah.
You know how to do that. Women know how to do that.
Of course they know.
So if you're doing that, you are showing the guy that you're open, like you can come and approach me, and he's not. Chances are perhaps that he's not interested that way. Yeah. It's not that men are dense. Sometimes they can be, but when it comes to this, like you knew, when you came to approach me, you knew you would not receive, well, your chances of receiving a no were very small.
Very slim, yes. So
to conclude.
Is there a rule? Not per se. The idea is the man's approach. But you see women, there's always a way.
There you go.
So we're going to go for a quick break, and when we come back, we have our next question.
Stay with us.
Right from the oven. Stay with us. Hello, our YouTube viewers. We are the presenters of the Love Talk Show.
I am Rafa.
And you know who I am, Luke. And we are here to encourage you to share this channel with your friends, your family members. Invite them to watch our shows, because our desire is to help couples and singles do better in their relationships or future relationships. So subscribe to this channel, share on your Facebook page, share the link with with everyone you know, so that they can learn intelligent love.
Also, leave us our comments and your questions.
Welcome back to Dear Love Talk Christmas special. We are cracking these babies here because inside of them there are questions from our viewers. In case you don't know, we have an email that you can send us your questions at lovetalkshow.tv, and we answer them straight away, and depending on the questions we even share them here because we believe it can help others. So I had removed the crown, but my wife said keep the crown, so apparently she wants me to be the king.
Right.
Right?
So
King of Scotland. Let's pull the...
Well, you got it now.
There you go. Okay, I think the questions flew, and...
No, it's that.
Yeah, here's the crown. Yes. Here we go. Here is the question. Let's read it. Can you go into more details or even make a video based on the topic of someone who knows they're ready to date? I watched the video on your YouTube channel called Are You Ready for a Relationship? And I felt like when you answered the question at the end, it was too short and brief. And I would like to know all the signs. Well, all the signs, quite complex, quite difficult, right? Do you remember that video?
You know, as you read the question, I remember not everything, but I do remember that when we finished, I felt that was so short. Some people might find that it was a very short explanation, so here's a chance for us to make it a little bit longer. People who are not ready for a relationship, you see many people who come to us, they are single and they are looking for somebody. When we talk to them...
And by the way, not only young people.
Yes.
Not only
all
young
ages.
Teenagers, young adults, no, all ages. Even men and women who were in a relationship in the past,
even
were
married.
Now they are free. They got divorced. Now they are free. They want to engage in a new relationship. So all ages.
So when they come to us and we start talking, they realize that they are not ready for a relationship. They thought they were, but they are not. I'll give you some examples, real examples that we see as we talk to people. When you're not ready, it's easier for you to know when you're not ready for a relationship than say, am I ready? Look, someone might say, for example, there was a young girl, she was I think in her 20s, and she was doing what we teach here, learning intelligent love, learning to take care of herself before even thinking about being in a relationship, because her last relationship was a complete disaster. She recognizes today that she's done tons of wrong things, wrong decisions, rushed, anyway. So I was talking to her one week, and she says, you know, I'm taking care of myself now, and I don't want a relationship. I don't see I'm ready for it. 2 weeks later, she's dating. She's dating someone. She comes with a boyfriend. So if you say, I'm not ready for a relationship today, and next week you say, I'm ready, that it doesn't work like that. Sometimes people, they want to follow what they feel.
Already thinking about a relationship. Okay, I'm thinking, for example, she said, I'm focused on myself now. I'm working on myself. Fair enough. That doesn't mean you've forgotten completely the idea of being in a relationship with someone. But that means in the meantime, right now at this right moment, you are working on yourself. Then next week, following month, you're already thinking about having a partner. You look around, you see other people, together, and I need a partner. So you're not ready for a relationship because you're not even ready for a relationship with yourself. So you said you don't even know what you want, because first you said I need to focus on myself. Next week, you're already thinking about that, or as you said, you already turn up with a partner.
What's the problem with that? The problem is you have made a decision with yourself. You said, I'm not going to engage in a relationship. Next week, 1 week later, you are in a relationship. That means you can't keep your word to yourself. What do you think is going to be the consequence of that in a relationship? Now, it's not only you who have expectations about yourself, someone else has expectations, but you can't feel you can't meet your own expectations, let alone someone else's. So that shows you're not ready for a relationship.
People who were in a relationship before, things didn't work. Maybe they were just dating or they were even married. And they think that all they need now is another relationship. So I need another relationship. That one didn't work. That person was this and that. That person treated me like trash. That person cheated on me. That person did this and that. It didn't work. Now I need to know what I have to do to find another partner. Wrong. You're not ready for a relationship, because I don't believe whatever happened in the past was just that person's fault. Could be your fault too. And not only that, on top of that, what about the time for you to see what needs to happen? Perhaps you're hurt from that relationship.
You need to heal.
You have lots of issues. You go into the relationship with somebody else, and you're expecting that somebody else to fix your issues, to help you heal those wounds, but not knowing that you might make that person sick. You might end up hurting that person because you're all hurt.
If not the person, at least the relationship. You're going to make that relationship sick because you're not healed from all the things that you heard, all the things that you went through. So if you still hurt from things that happened to you in the past, relationship-wise or not, if you are hurt, if you have issues, you are not ready for a relationship.
Exactly.
Another sign that I say is very common in women is like this. I'm not interested in anybody, I don't see anybody, right now there is no one. Tomorrow someone comes and says, oh, I'm interested in you. All of a sudden, she sees herself enchanted by this person. You're not ready for a relationship because that's not how an enduring relationship starts. You have nobody in mind, the next day someone shows up and now you're...
After all, you need someone. You can't be single for the rest of your life. So you go for that relationship with the wrong reasons, right?
It shows that you're quite needy. So anyone that comes along steals your heart. No, like you were saying in the beginning, you make it, wait a minute, it's not like that. So if you see yourself doing that, you're not interested in anybody, the moment someone shows any interest in you, now all of a sudden you're in love. If you see yourself that way, you're not ready for a relationship.
Excuse me. And there are so many other things. Talk about finances, for instance. Not being ready financially, especially men who want to go into a relationship, date a woman. Some people will date like for ages. They date for 5, 7, 8 years. That's not a date anymore. As I said before, that's a series to go on Netflix. Various episodes. So you date, you engage, and you get married.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yes, but some people do that and they move into the mother's house. They go to live with the brother. I mean, you're not ready for a relationship. You need to be financially stable, especially you men, so you can take that woman out of her father's house, from under the roof of her father's house, which have cared for her, who has cared for her and taken care of her, and bring that woman under your roof, not somebody else's roof. And finances, emotionally, there are many things you have to observe. People don't want to do that. They don't want to look at themselves. That's the problem. If people understand that they need to look at themselves, let me see myself. Let me examine myself. Let me run a scan of myself. They're going to discover so many things in which they have to improve, perhaps stop doing, change few habits. That's it. That means they are progressing and getting ready for a relationship. Now, when people tend to ignore what they have to do, and they only pay attention to what is going on outside, they pay attention to others, the things they don't have, or how they should go about a relationship rather than being ready for one, that's when they get it all wrong. So there are various things you need to analyze there, lots of things. I mean, we can't give all the signs here.
We can give
if you keep watching our shows,
go to our website,
YouTube channel, you're going to be able to pick up on many, many signs. But these are very basic ones. Another thing that I would like to say is, when you're not ready for a relationship, when you're not well with yourself. We know ourselves very well. We can deceive others. We can cheat on people, but we cannot cheat on ourselves. So you know very well who you are. whether you are mature enough, whether you are prepared or not, whether financially, emotionally, or I don't know, you name it, spiritually, I don't know, or mentally, you know very well. So don't deceive yourself. Don't, after all, you can't. But you can try as much as you want. It's not going to work because you know very well who you are. And you know when you're ready or not.
I think we could wrap it up saying this. If you are starting a relationship with the premises that, I don't know where this is going, let's see where this goes, you're not ready for a relationship. If you're not ready to commit to anyone, you're not ready for a relationship. This is not going to end well.
It might be the case that for some reason that relationship does not work,
yes,
or will not work as that person was expecting to work. It may happen. We're not saying that you have to date and engage and get married regardless, not at all. But it may happen. But you have to avoid that as much as you can. And as you said, making sure that once you go for that relationship, it's going to work. And you're going to make it work.
It's like this. Maybe as the relationship progresses, you realize that person is not for you. You cannot commit to that person, but it doesn't mean that you weren't ready to commit if things had been different. So it's not about the person, you see, it's about you. I am ready to commit. Let's see if this is the person I'm ready to commit.
Don't force it, don't push it.
Yeah.
No, it's not, this person, things are not the way expected. Like I spoke to a lady, to a woman a few days ago. She's already in her late 40s or early 50s. She's looking for a relationship, and she met this man around the same age, but he didn't go well about certain things, especially when it comes to family. You know, she felt that wasn't okay. So she didn't do anything wrong, but she saw that, you know, they didn't date, they were just talking, but she felt that it's not gonna work because maybe he's too attached to his children, things like that. So she called it off. She simply
didn't start.
Didn't even bother to start. As you said, there was nothing wrong with her, but that also helps her have some understanding, helps her, you know, prepare herself for an eventual relationship in the future. So this is it, guys. Stick around because we're coming back with more questions.
Do you know what intelligent love is? But you can find out on our site. It's lovetalkshow.tv. Many people, they struggle in love, in their relationships. They keep losing their hearts, their feelings, and everything always goes to waste. So if you want to learn to love intelligently, that's the place you should visit. lovetalkshow.tv. We also have our Facebook page, our Instagram page, Love Talk Show. So visit us.
I just agree with everything she said. Welcome back to Dear Love Talk, Christmas special. We're answering few questions here. In our previous segment, we answered a question about being ready.
For a relationship.
How do I know I'm ready for a relationship? In case you missed that segment, you can catch up with us on our YouTube channel. Just search for Love Talk Show and you can catch up with us any segments that you might have missed. We're pulling these crackers. The questions are inside, and in the previous segment we pulled too strong, and apparently there are toys inside, and the toys flew over somewhere. So don't pull too strong, please.
Right.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. I told you.
Oh, it wasn't me.
There you go. Here we go.
Is it there, the question?
Yeah. It's a tiny tape dispenser. Wow, look at this. This is extremely...
And here's the question. I accidentally checked my husband's email and found out he has an account on a dating website. And he was chatting with women there. There were nude pictures, and he's asking when they could meet. I immediately confronted him, and he deleted the account, apologized, and said he'll never do it again. I threatened to leave him, but he cried, apologized, and I accepted it. The problem is, I'm suspicious all the time. What should I do?
Right, so I want to keep the question open here. because this is a very profound question and a very serious situation. This is a very common problem among men nowadays, pornography, right? Because she says that it's a dating website where the woman is exposing herself completely nude, no clothes at all. So is that a dating or a pornographic site? I don't know, you name it. This is very common nowadays. We see good men really, messing up with their lives, putting themselves in very difficult situations because of pornography. We're talking about a married man.
And something that wasn't here, but they are married for 7 months only.
For 7 months only. Mm-hmm. And why does he need that? 7 months. If he was married for 25 years, I'm not saying it justifies. 25 years, marriage is not good, is in shambles, and he's lost, he's confused, and he did that. Would still be wrong. Mm-hmm. Would still be wrong. But 7 months within the relationship, within the marriage. So, my question is, how long he's been doing that?
I was going to say that.
Because she just found out.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Yes.
So.
Now, in a man that is married for 25 years, maybe they were happy at some point. Yeah. And it happened later. He started doing that later on. Now, you're married
maybe they were having issues. The woman was no longer treating him fairly, properly. It happens.
But anyway,
yeah.
It started later. Now, for a man to be married only 7 months and already being in a site makes me understand the following. He was already doing that.
Yes.
Before he got married. It's just that she never found out.
She didn't pick up on the signs when they were dating or engaged. By the way, again, I want to highlight this here, stress that even if you're married for 20 plus years, that doesn't give you the reason to do that.
It doesn't justify you.
We're just comparing the situations here. 7 months within the marriage. So as you said, maybe he was doing that even before. Mm. She confronted him. He cried. He apologized. Fair enough. She even says here that she was willing to move on.
Yeah, she threatened to leave.
Yeah, she threatened to leave.
And that's when he cried.
Yes. But as she says, the problem is I'm suspicious all the time. And we understand, we give her all credit for that because now he has to, here's what we also tell people when these kind of things happen. It's a mutual work. He lost her trust, and she can no longer trust him. So she can no longer trust him, and he lost her trust. Now she's got to work hard to regain her trust.
He's got to work hard.
Yeah, he's got to work hard to regain her trust, and she's got to give him the benefit of the doubt, and see where we go.
It's a very
it's complex.
It's a very complicated situation.
It's not easy. It's not done overnight. We've seen these cases happening all over again, over and over again. This is a situation where he had a secret email to access this dating website. We've had cases in which, the husband physically betrayed his wife. Some not only once, twice, 3 times, and it's difficult. It's difficult for the woman to trust him again. Some women have told the man to leave the house. I don't want to see you for the next few days. Obviously, she's hurt, she's broken. The husband had to oblige and stay away for a while, wait for the wife to calm down, and he's gonna have to work. He's gotta have to work everything again. He's gonna have to work from the bottom, go back to square one, and perhaps do even more than he did before to prove to her that yes, I messed up. I was very silly. I shouldn't have done that. There's no reason why I should have done that. Please accept me again. Let me come back. And the wife, on the other hand, she's gonna have to use the power of forgiveness. It's difficult, but there's no other way.
This is the thing. As a woman, some women they can be very hard, not forgiving, and some women can be very foolish, even if I want to say that. So you have to be you have to, I don't want to use that word, but yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be very smart about this. You have to use, now is the time for you to use intelligent love.
Strategies.
This week I was reading in news where there's this celebrity, this guy, I don't know what he does, but he's a celebrity. He hit the wife, and she reported him, and it came on the news, and now he's on YouTube crying his eyes out, saying, I'm sorry. Here's the thing. You have to see which is the case of your husband, because is he sorry because he was about to cheat on you, or basically cheating on you, or is he sorry that he got caught? Mm-hmm. It's a difference. Yeah. He cried, right? He apologized, but he got caught. He never came and said, look, I'm doing this and I'm very sorry. So how sincere is his apology? Usually,
they don't come forward. Anyway, right? So usually the wife finds out. Mm-hmm. Most cases. It's very rare when a man comes forward and says, hey honey, I messed up. I cheated on you. Mm. He may not want to do that again. He may feel very bad about it and promise himself never to do that again. And he puts it right there, no, hidden somewhere, forget it, I don't want to talk about it. Mm-hmm. He pretends that it never happened. Sooner or later she finds out. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, most of them, they never do that. It's the wife that finds out, someone finds out and reports to the wife. Right. Going back now to what you were saying, strategies. You need to, okay, he's sorry, he's willing to stay, but you have now to tell him exactly how it's gonna work, because you don't trust him. You know, I may love you, but right now, I don't trust you.
And it's such
I may have even the desire to be with you, but I would be betraying my feelings right now. And I mean, what will you do in the future? Mm-hmm. Will you do that again? So if you're really sorry and willing to come back and feeling all apologetic, so then you have to do this. Mm-hmm. This is how it's gonna work. If he's willing to abide, good. He's really ready to, he's repent and ready to work things out.
And this happened, it's such a delicate moment in their marriage. 7 months. I mean,
7 months.
If you betray the person's trust, then
it's almost they were on a honeymoon.
It's like they didn't have time to really trust each other, to know each other. So if you want to stay with him, if you believe that his repentance is sincere, he's really repentant, you need to take steps.
Yeah.
There are conditions. You're suspicious all the time. I would be too.
Of course.
Because how can I believe if he is really sincere? And so you need to take steps.
Yeah.
What would make you less suspicious? What would make you comfortable to believe that he is being truthful? What is it? No more Facebooks, no more what? So you need to give him conditions. Look, the condition for this to work, shared accounts, shared passwords. To me, it's like this. She said that she accidentally checked her husband's email. I don't accidentally check your emails. If I have your phone in my hand, I'll go through your things, and there's no problem. And that's another thing that we even discussed here on the show, the trust, sharing accounts, sharing everything. So you need to take steps and see what's necessary for you to be able to trust him again. You can't just go by, oh, you were sorry, you apologized, you cried. Okay, I believe you're never going to do it again. In 7 months, he did it. So what guarantees you that he won't?
The time they were supposed to be getting to know each other, right? 7 months, first year, first 2 years, first 3 years, first 4 years. We even tell people to, if they're really willing to have children, not to have children so early within the marriage, so they can have time to get to know each other, to bond. It didn't happen.
Yeah, this already happened. So,
your husband's gonna have to work really hard to prove that to you. And I don't know if he's watching us, if you ever watch us, but this message is for him also, that sir, you're gonna have to work really hard because you messed up big time. I'm not saying that no hopes, all hopes are lost, of course not. We believe in forgiveness, we believe in repentance, but you're gonna have to really prove your wife that you're not that kind of man.
And you have to forgive him.
Because he was planning to meet the woman. He was about to physically even go to bed with a woman. I mean, he was determined to do that. unless you had found out, he would have done that.
Yeah, and you have to be ready to forgive him. You know, when you see that if he abides by your conditions.
If you make up your mind
to stay
with him, you're gonna have to forgive him.
What you can't do is in 5 years' time keep throwing. The guy has changed. He abides by your conditions, and 5 years down the line you're still telling him. But remember when you did that?
Yes, exactly.
Then
so maybe he's coming short in a few things, and you keep throwing that back. Then you're punishing him. That's not gonna work. Okay. So, third segment. We have one more question to share with you. Okay. So stick around. When we come back, we are gonna crack this one here, the very last one, and review the question that is inside. Stay with us. Hello everyone, we are here to invite you to our Love Talk seminars every Thursday at 8 p.m. on the address that you can see here at the bottom of your screen. You can also find more details on our website, lovetalkshow.tv. You find events throughout the year. They are all free, where you're going to learn a lot about relationships. Singles and couples are invited. Our desire is to share with you a little bit of what we've been through, and also, help you with prayers, with advice, with counseling, down-to-earth teachings in which will help you become a better man, a better woman, a better husband, a better wife, and see, better results of your investment when it comes to relationships. Okay, every Thursday, 8 p.m., Love Talk Live on this address here that you see at the bottom of your screen. Welcome back to Dear Love Talk Christmas Special. We are here with our special mugs and crackers. We are cracking them every segment.
You're opening them.
Yeah. And then answering the questions that are inside. These questions are questions of people who send us their questions to questions@lovetalkshow.tv. You can send any questions related to relationships. And the reason why we're answering them here, though we have already answered those people privately, is because we think that these questions will help many of our viewers. Mm-hmm. Because what one person is going through is exactly the same thing or similar to what many other people are going through. So we believe they are very helpful. Let's go.
And also, if the person, you can hold it, If the person is not going through that, but they can learn how not to do something.
That's why we answer them, because it helps those who are going through and help those who are not going through prevent those issues.
Exactly.
3, 2, 1.
Ta-da! Me again. Right.
Okay. Can I read this time?
The crown. You can read it.
We're not wearing the crown anymore.
Ooh, a tape. How do you call that? Measuring tape. And the question is?
Here we go. Some time ago, there was a man who approached me wanting to get to know me better. At the time, I said no because I wasn't ready. A few months ago, he started a relationship with someone, and even though I was not and am not interested in him, I felt jealous. I don't understand myself sometimes. I want to have someone in my life too, even though I know I'm not ready now. What do I do? Well, you're not ready at all, period. So, yes, you need to understand yourself better because you didn't, how can I say, invested in that relationship because you felt you're not ready. There was nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong, period.
You knew. You knew you weren't ready.
You knew you were not ready. Now, I think this shows another sign that you're not ready still because you're feeling jealous due to the fact that you've seen that man with somebody else.
And the interesting...
Meaning that, what now? Maybe that was Mr. Right. Mm-hmm. That was my soulmate. And now what's going to happen to me? I lost him. He's with somebody else now. What do I do? which is not the case.
And the interesting thing is that says she's jealous, even though she was not and is not right now interested in him. I think it's like this. It's not...
Going back to that question we answered in the second segment about not being ready for a relationship,
there you go.
Is an example.
I think it's like this. It's normal that it happens to single people. You were working on yourself, you're healing yourself from some hurt in the past. You're not ready in many senses to have a relationship, but you look at people around you, and here you see a couple, and your friends are getting married.
And the man who approached you is now somebody else.
So it's normal for you to feel left out. Like, it highlights the fact that, okay, I'm alone. It's normal. It's a feeling. But this is where your reason and intelligent love has to come in. It's normal for you to feel that way, that other people have somebody and you don't. You can act on those feelings, and that's what people do.
By the way, what gives you the guarantee that he's ready for a relationship? Maybe in your mind you're saying, wow, I lost that man, I missed on that opportunity. What a great man. You don't know. We don't know. Maybe he wasn't even ready for a relationship. Maybe he wasn't going to be, that man, that partner that you were expecting him to be. Now, by the way, should we read a woman's mind right now? Imagine her sitting at a table like this, by herself, and she sees the man walking by with the other woman, and perhaps in her mind she's thinking, well, maybe that woman is better than me.
Yeah.
Maybe she's a better good looking. She looks, way more beautiful than I look. Lots of things crosses a woman's mind when that happens, and that's why she's feeling jealous. It's not even because she really wants to be with him. It's just because he is with somebody else, which is not her.
And it's like this. Look, some people might say, well, he really wasn't for you, because if he was, he would wait for you. Yeah, as in movies. Yeah. This is the fact. Maybe he wasn't, maybe that relationship's not going to work, but maybe he was. He was ready for a relationship and you weren't. It's life. It doesn't mean that now you've missed that opportunity, you have no other opportunity. But I think you did correctly. If you're not ready, then you're not ready. And if that opportunity is going to pass you by, then you have to let it pass by.
And also that mentality like this, a man is after me, so he's going to be after me forever.
If he loves me, he waits for me.
He's going to be forever. And as soon as she saw him with another woman, probably her mind was like, what? So
he was lying then. Because, well, from what she writes, it doesn't seem like he approached her and then the following day he was with somebody else. It was after a while. It's not that he was lying, he just said, okay, he was interested, but you were not at the time. Great.
He moved on.
He moved on. So
now you move on.
Yes.
As simple as that. Move on.
And continue working on yourself for you to be ready
and
for a relationship.
And get rid of the jealousy, because if you are that jealous,
and it's like this, look,
it might be a problem.
Where people make this mistake over and over again. They say, okay, I've had enough of relationships, I'm going to stay single for a while. Then they see couples around them. Their friends are starting a relationship or they're getting married, and they say, I'm alone. Who is available? So sometimes people start a relationship just so that they are not alone.
For the wrong reasons. Same thing
so
again.
So don't let yourself be led by this feeling. You are right. You were right when you said no to him because you knew you weren't ready. So even if you had said yes, the relationship might not have been successful.
And I tell you what, you were right then and wrong now. Why? I mean, if you're wrong,
she doesn't understand herself sometimes.
If you're wrong there and right now, it's understandable because you're improving. You're right then, but you're wrong now. So forget about it, move on, keep working on yourself. You did right back then, and obviously someone will approach you again, and if you see that that's the right relationship, go for it. If not, don't be afraid to say no again, okay? You don't owe anyone any explanation. Just be yourself. All right? So it's time to wrap it up.
Yes.
And then what do you have to say?
Whenever we're talking about, and we do this on a weekly basis, not only on the show, but we have one-to-ones. He says, I talk a lot. But the fact is, whenever we are finished, sometimes I feel, I don't think I explained that. I explained that correctly. I should speak more, but I don't because it says I speak too much.
No,
but
no, go ahead.
I think like this. In this instance, which, you know, many people go through it, I don't think when she says she was jealous of the guy. She was jealous of
That's what
the
I said.
relationship.
It wasn't
you know.
because of him.
It was because someone is dating and I'm not.
Someone perhaps took her place. Maybe that idea, I should be there. Yeah, but you said no. So this is it. So
it's one thing for you to work on now. Maybe that's what's missing. That you are okay being alone. And the fact that other people being in relationships, it doesn't affect you. You feel like, oh, I wish I were too, but it doesn't affect you. Maybe you need to get to that point and then you'll be ready.
One thing that I would like to say before we finish. Being alone doesn't mean you are wrong or there's something wrong with you.
No.
And those who are in a relationship,
they're doing great.
They're doing great.
No.
That's not the case. That's not the case. We've come across people who are in a relationship, have been in relationships, and they are not doing well. Singles also are not doing well, and vice versa. People in relationships who are doing well, singles who are doing very well because they know what they want, they value themselves. So that's the most important thing, value yourselves. So, having said that, if you have any questions, those of you who are single, those of you who are married, maybe you are going through a very difficult time, maybe as a single person you're going through a very difficult time, write to us, questions@lovetalkshow.tv. We will answer them promptly and we might share your question here. We're not going to review your name, who you are, because we believe it might help also others.
And here's one thing that we do all the time, compromise. You think I talk too much, I'm going to try to speak less.
No, I like when she talks.
See?
I've always told people that I have become a better man because of her, right? So...
this is marriage, you see?
This is marriage.
Halfway.
Yes. 15 years. Now there is chemistry. Now there's chemistry. Chemistry when you meet someone for the first time, you had few dates, went out on a few dates. That's not chemistry. No. You're still putting the chemicals together, you know, on the table, and then later on you're going to mix them.
Yeah.
And after a few years, you have chemistry. Right, guys, this is it.
It's time to go.
This is our Dear Love Talk Christmas special. It's time to go. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
And that's all for today's Love Talk show. Be sure to tune in next week to learn more on how to love intelligently.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.